3 days passed, 3 quiet days, 3 days of stories, 3 days of tears, 3 days beneath the mother tree. Nobody rushed anything, nobody wanted to. Everlight could wait, unity could wait, the future could wait. For now there was only family and grief. The great mother dawnfruit tree stood silent above them. The pond reflected the sunlight. The jungle moved gently around the clearing. And beneath it all, pines soon to be placed next to Lyra, a new case ready for a second urn. Aurora sat beneath a tree early that morning, alone. The girls had finally begun sleeping again. Not well, but enough. The shock had faded. The grief remained. Aurora stared at the 2 glass cases. One held Lyra, one soon to hold Pines, exactly where he had wanted to be. Footsteps approached. Aurora looked up. Kenny. The ruler of Reach carried 2 urns in his hands. One empty, one full. Aurora immediately stood. Neither spoke at first. The morning breeze drifted through the leaves overhead. Finally, Kenny stepped forward. "They're ready." Aurora swallowed. The full urn felt heavier than expected. The empty one felt delicate, important, sacred. Kenny sat beside her, looking toward the mother tree, toward the place where his oldest friend now rested. For a long while he remained silent, then finally spoke. "You did good." Aurora immediately shook her head. "He protected me." Kenny smiled sadly, then gently corrected her. "No." Aurora looked confused. Kenny stared toward the horizon. "He needed you." The silence settled around them. The ruler of Reach sighed. After Lyra died, his voice softened. He wasn't himself anymore. Aurora listened carefully. Kenny smiled sadly. He hid it from everybody. A pause. Most people never noticed. Another pause. But I did. Aurora remained silent. The ruler looked down. I watched him change. He laughed less. He visited less. He cared less. The words hurt to hear, because they sounded nothing like the man she'd known. Kenny's eyes glistened. There were years I was genuinely worried about him. Aurora stared. The ruler laughed quietly. When he volunteered for the 12th Eclipse. A pause. I almost said no. Aurora blinked. "What?" Kenny nodded. I was scared. The admission surprised her. The ruler of Reach smiled sadly. "I thought I might lose him in there." The silence stretched. Then Kenny looked directly at her. Instead, a smile appeared. The old fool came back. Aurora's eyes immediately filled with tears. Kenny laughed softly, not physically. A pause. He was still old. That earned a tiny smile. The ruler continued. "I mean him." Another pause. "The real Pines." Aurora cried quietly. Kenny nodded. I watched every day, every challenge, every conversation, every year. His smile grew warmer, and every year he became more like himself again. Aurora wiped tears from her eyes. Kenny looked towards the tree, then back at her. "You gave him purpose." A pause. "You gave him family." Another. "You gave him daughters." Aurora broke. The tears came freely. Kenny smiled sadly. "He loved all 4 of you." A pause. "More than you'll ever know." The silence became beautiful, painful, but beautiful. Eventually Kenny looked toward Pine's urn, then softly said, "Thank you." Aurora hugged him immediately. The ruler hugged her back. Neither spoke, neither needed to. For several moments they simply stood together, grieving the same man, remembering the same friend. Eventually Selena joined them. The Queen of Reach wrapped both of them into a hug, already crying. Aurora smiled through tears. "Are you okay?" Celine laughed sadly. "No." That got a laugh from all 3. Celine wiped her eyes. "But we're all right." Aurora looked toward Kenny. The ruler nodded. He was ready. A pause. We weren't. Another pause. But he was. The 3 stood together beneath the mother tree. Until eventually, Kenny gently placed the empty urn into Aurora's hands. The signal. The permission. The understanding. Aurora nodded. Kenny and Celine stepped away, giving her privacy, giving her space, giving her time. The clearing became silent once more. Inside the house, Ellie, Plum, and Mira waited quietly. Mira had spent much of the previous 3 days with Kenny and Celine as well. The adopted daughter of House Reach had been helping her parents through their grief, just as they had been helping her through hers. The entire family was mourning together. Aurora approached Lyra's urn first, slowly, respectfully. She knelt. The glass reflected the morning sunlight. For a moment she simply stared. At the name, at the case, at the woman whose legacy had shaped so many lives. A tear rolled down her cheek, then another. Carefully she opened the case. The ashes remained untouched, protected, preserved, remembered. Aurora took only a small handful, no more than that, just enough. Then she placed them into the empty urn. Afterwards she carefully closed the case once more, then moved to Pines. The tears returned immediately, harder this time. The old Reaper's urn sat exactly where she pictured it, beside Lyra. Together. At last. Aurora rested her hand against the container, closing her eyes, remembering the eclipse, the lessons, the laughs, the arguments, the hugs, everything. Then she carefully took a small handful, the same amount, no more, no less, and added it beside Lyra's. Together, just as they should be. Aurora closed the urn tightly, protectively, then placed Pine's urn back beside Lyra's, side by side beneath the mother tree. The breeze moved softly through the leaves. The giant tree swayed overhead. Aurora looked at both urns, the grief settling, the promise waiting. She rested a hand on Pine's urn, then Lyra's, and quietly whispered, "Rest well, Uncle Pines." The jungle remained silent. The pond reflected the sky. The mother tree stood watch, and beneath its branches, Pines and Lyra rested together. Aurora picked up the small urn, the one carrying a piece of both of them, then stood, ready to carry a promise home. Aurora started walking back toward the house, the small urn held carefully against her chest, while beneath the mother tree, two old souls finally rested side by side.